Hello everyone, this is Asim Raza. I'm the director of film Parey Hut Love and you're watching me on DESIblitz.com. Go and watch the movie now.
Hi everyone, this is Sheheryar Munawar, and my film Parey Hut Love comes out on the 8th of August in cinemas across the world. Please come out and watch it. You're watching me on DESIblitz right now.
Hi everyone, this is Sania. I'm in Sania from Parey Hut Love, and my name is Maya Ali, and you're watching me on DESIblitz.
DESIblitz.com.
How and when did the idea for Parey Hut Love come about?
Oh wow, that's a long story, but I'll try to cut it short. To be honest, I've been working as an art filmmaker for the last 24, 25 years now, and I've done music video clips also in the middle. I've worked with Junoon and I've worked with many other bands from Pakistan. I also have indulged in a telefilm called Behad, which was with Fawad Khan and Nadia Jamil. But obviously, a filmmaker is born with the dream of actually making a feature film one day, and so was I. So every time I kind of dreamt it, I obviously looked for a story which would be exciting enough for me as well as for my audience, because I believe this is an inclusive medium and you can't just be, if I may say, too selfish about it. So I used to keep looking through books and ideas and stories, and Imran Aslam, who's a very, very well-regarded name in the industry in Pakistan, he happens to be a close friend. And I was lucky one day when we were chatting, Imran offered me a storyline and he said, if you want, I can develop it for you. Imran has never written a film, and I feel very, very lucky that he kind of actually was willing to take out time for me, because he's generally known to be somebody who would be great for all these things, but he's, mashallah, so committed and busy in life that it becomes very difficult for him to sit down and actually work on a script for a feature, because it's a long drawn assignment. So that is when it initially came up, and I loved the storyline and we decided to develop. But as I said, Imran is a busy man, so he got busy, and I realized that it's going to take time. But my thing about making a feature film was kind of constantly killing me. So that is when I came up with my first feature. So actually, Parey Hut Love story started even before Ho Mann Jahaan, which was my first feature film.
Maya, I want to begin by asking you, the film has an incredible cast.
Yeah.
What was it like with all the cast members, particularly Sheheryar? Hottest actor?
Yeah, no doubt, he is. Mashallah, we have a huge cast. We have Ahmed Ali Butt, Zara Noor Abbas, Mahira Khan, then we have cameos by Fawad Khan and Meera ji. So it was a great experience for me, obviously, because I got a chance to learn so many things from all of them, especially from Mahira. Her ada, I wish I could copy her ada and her moves, which we have already seen in More Saiya. And then the comic time from Ahmed Ali, but you have no idea what kind of a boy he is. He is the best in comedy. And then, of course, Sheheryar. Mashallah, I think Alhamdulillah, I'm very much blessed that I'm working with him. इस फिल्म से पहले मैं उनको नहीं जानती थी उसना से, but I have already done 2-3 shoots with him. Or I thought that he's very much egoistic, and that kind of a boy. I'm really sorry, Sheheryar, I'm saying all this, but film के time पे मैंने उनको जाना and टाइम स्पेंड किया, और मुझे ये लगता है अब फैसल कि इनसे अच्छा इंसान मुझे नहीं मिला, and I found a very good friend in him, and I'm happy that I got a chance to do work with him.
Getting into rehearsals, I was really scared, but then I was also the producer, also the lead actor. I had to be the hero as well. I was being reserved again. But the interesting thing is that Asim started us off not with scene rehearsals but dance rehearsals, because it's a musical in a way, Parey Hut Love. So he said, why don't you guys start off with your dance rehearsals? And that was a good way to kind of break the ice. And then we realized that we started we're both Leos, so that way, I guess I wouldn't say egos, but I guess Leos are very proud generally. But then we kind of warmed up towards each other, and over the course of the film, when we started shooting the first scene, we were very competitive, and I really liked that. I liked being competitive because I feel like generally across the promotions we've been getting this one compliment. This is everyone's saying you guys have such wonderful chemistry on screen, and that is there because we were very competitive when we were shooting. If she would raise the bar, I would come back, and then what eventually ended up happening is that we were bouncing off each other, and by the third, fourth day, I knew where she was taking a scene and she knew where I was taking it, and so we allowed each other space to improvise and sort of ad-lib in certain places, much to Asim's annoyance and dismay. He would stop us at while, but then over the course of this entire year, I've grown to we've become very close and we've become very good friends now. So I think what I did realize was that this woman is a very, very disciplined person. We're very different schools of thought in terms of our acting method. I like to sort of get in my character, and then if I'm in a sad scene, I'll stay in that mood the whole day. I won't talk to people. If I'm in an angry mood, if it's a happy scene, no matter what happens, I'll whatever ducks back, I'd let it go. But she, on the other hand, she's more like, let's rehearse it, let's read it once, and let's go into it. But I don't like reading right before the scene, so we had issues with that as well. But what happened was that over the course of the entire film, I learned quite a bit from her, and what I also learned from her was to be able to be strong. She's a very, very strong girl, with I don't know if you know about how she's her entire journey, how she's gotten here, and I'm in awe of her. Generally I'm a huge fan of strong women. I come from a family where we have strong women, so as I got to know her and I understood the backstory, 'cause with everyone there's a backstory. When I understood the backstory, and so hats off to her.
You talk that you've been on this journey of discovery.
Yeah.
What have you discovered about others, about yourself? कोई नायाब चीज़ कोई discover की है on this journey?
To be honest, I always say that I'm a very emotional man, and I literally live on my relations with my loved ones, whether it's not just my wife, but my children, my sisters, my parents. And honestly, what I discovered in the process of making first Ho Mann Jahaan, now Parey Hut Love, which is all about family, if I may call it family business. So it's about families, and it's about although Parey Hut Love is a romantic, light romantic film, but even then there's like a dysfunctional family around it, which kind of in shape of parents and brothers, sisters, or for that matter friends, which for me are equally important, are playing interesting elements, and how they're twisting the lives and the arcs of the characters. And I realized that while if you ask me what I learned, I've learned that we underestimate our relations a lot, and in order to keep the, if I may say, priorities right, we have to focus a little more on not just a person in life, but a lot many more. And I think that's a great learning for me, because I'm using it for myself, as well as I'm really hoping that others also pick on some of it. And I think it'll make our lives a lot more happier, prettier, and chirpier.
Sheheryar, tell us a bit about your character, which also I believe is Sheheryar.
Yes.
In the film.
100 points for creativity.
Yeah, so tell us a bit about your character, please.
So you've essentially asked me two different questions. One is why I'm Sheheryar in the film, and one about my character. So Sheheryar in the film is a struggling actor. He's a bit of a daydreamer in his own world. He has Later in the film, you find out he's got massive baggage with his, backstory in terms of his family. Comes from a broken home, and right now his mother is living with his stepfather, and he's left that house and he lives with his friends in a shanty locality because he wants to pursue his dream of becoming a film actor. And that's where the film starts off from. And due to the kind of backstory that he has, he's a commitment phobe, and he doesn't believe in the concept of marriage. And if you've seen the trailer, that's what he says, that why is this nation obsessed with marriage? And his other issues are that he likes to sort of run away from issues and sweep them under the rug. And over the journey of the film, he has to sort of learn how to face his issues in life, sort of man up. Along the way, what helps him do that is that he falls in love with this beautiful lady being played by Maya Ali. And that's where the problem starts, because then he has a bit of a dilemma, because here he's in love with this beautiful lady, and then he also has his commitment issues to face. And so that's essentially the character. He's a bit of a charmer, but the way that we've tackled this is that he's not the quintessential Bollywood or Lollywood charmer who would write his phone number and throw it at a girl. He's more of a reserved, kind of shy kind of person who kind of believes in charming the lady and letting them come to him. And so that's Sheheryar. He's any other millennial, I'd say. Oh, and why is he called Sheheryar is an interesting story as well, because as an actor, the biggest fear that you have is showing yourself. It's very easy to hide behind a character, which I've been doing in my previous work. And I always like building a character rather than playing myself. And with this time, Asim's request was that I want a lot of yourself, your personality coming into this. And about third or fourth day into rehearsals, he said, Sheheryar, I'm thinking, how about we change the name from Sheban to Sheheryar? So that was a bit of a trick that he did, and henceforth we started referring to me as Sheheryar in the film.
Fortunately, मुझे दोनों roles जो मिले, like in my first film Tifa in Trouble and then in Parey Hut Love, both are very much different than other. के Anya जो थी बहुत strong थी. Sanya, she's bold, she's beautiful, she's strong, and she knows her family values and she knows what she have to do, and she's very much focused. तो ये बहुत ज़रूरी होता है हमारी फिल्म्स में या ड्रामास में, हमें एक मैसेज कन्वे करना होता है. सो आसिम ने वो करवाया, एंड द राइटर इमरान असलम, उन्होंने बहुत अच्छा लिखा. जब आपको स्ट्रॉन्ग कैरेक्टर करना होता है तो आप पे ज़्यादा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होती है, क्योंकि आप बहुत सी लड़कियों को और बहुत सी ख़वातीन को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे होते हैं. तो आई होप कि मैंने वो जस्टिस किया और जो बताना चाह रहे थे आसिम और इमरान, मैंने वो किया है.
But how different is the real Sheheryar off screen? Because when I think of the name Sheheryar, I think of Deshat and some heaviness. And, I don't know, some big Vadera from Sindh or something. How are you off screen?
Not at all. We've been chit-chatting before this. I'd like to believe I'm very easygoing, but I even in the film, I feel there are a lot of similarities between myself and this character, which is what I was referring to earlier, that the biggest fear that an actor has to show themselves, and I had to show a lot of myself to this character. I think growing up, I faced the same issues. I'm a commitment phobe myself, and I've always had issues with addressing fears or issues in life, and I always kind of like glide by them. That's something that I had to overcome myself when I got into professional life, and so I could very well relate to how I did that. So therefore, there'll be a lot of things that you will find common between the real Sheheryar and the real Sheheryar in terms of the mannerism and a lot of things.
You mentioned that you play a very strong character.
Yeah.
Was that one of the reasons that attracted you to this film and the script of the film?
Obviously, Faisal, one of the reason. Asim, Sheheryar, and then this character, obviously. Because in dramas, आपको नहीं मिलता chance उस तरह से play करने का. But I never wanted to miss this film because that was from Asim. I was doing an ad with Asim Raza, and he asked me this question: do you have any dates in September onwards? I said, yeah. Karna kya? Ne kaha, do you want to do my film? I said, yeah, Asim, why not? There is nothing to say no. So yeah, I'm blessed.
You said that sometimes you don't get often you don't get the opportunity to do such roles in drama.
Ji.
Yet, Pakistani dramas are like the jewel in the crown for Pakistani entertainment.
Yeah.
Having done television,
Yeah.
which medium do you prefer, and where do you see yourself going? More the filmy route, or will it be a bit of both?
फैसल जो हमारे ड्रामाज हैं फॉर्चुनेटली और अनफॉर्चुनेटली बड़ा मीडियम है पाकिस्तान में एंड ऑब्वियसली आई स्टार्टेड माई करियर थ्रू लाइक ड्रामाज so I'll prefer dramas, but as a film actress I won't say this that I'll quit the film acting. अच्छा script आएगा, अच्छा काम आएगा, तो I'll do films and dramas both.
I want to ask you a sensitive question, because there's a lot of talk about the Me Too movement, and you know there's been a lot happening across the board as well in India.
Yeah.
You also worked in DIFA in Trouble
India.
alongside Ali Zafar.
Yeah.
Whilst everyone is innocent until proven guilty, were you at any point reluctant to work with Ali Zafar, and what are your thoughts in general about the Me Too movement?
Faisal, I have already given my statement when this all started. Ali was very good to me, and I never said this thing kaun galat aur kaun theek hai. But my opinion was like, he was sweet to me. He never said that kind of a stuff to me. So मुझे वो कहना था, but I'm still waiting for the decision by the court. कौन गलत और कौन ठीक? Yes, I'm a woman and I'm proud to be a woman. अब कुछ गलत होगा तो definitely I'll raise my voice.
Music plays an integral part in not just Pakistani films, in most Desi films. What are your thoughts on the soundtrack of the film, particularly the compositions by Azan Sami?
Yeah. So music to me is very important. I've grown up with music. I have lived with music all my life. My wife is a patron for classical music. So it's like our household is full of all kinds of genres of music, and we appreciate it a lot. So for me also, it is very important that whenever I tell a story in the shape of a feature film like Ho Mann Jahaan, which was my first, and Parey Hut Love, which is my second, music has to be right and do justice to the storyline, and it should progress with time, and it should progress with the story as well. I take personal interest in music when it's being made. I sit not only with my composer, but I end up actually writing my own lyrics for the songs, and that's how involved I am. I was very lucky to have Azan this time with me, because Azan, obviously it's in his blood. He's so mashallah fantastic with his understanding, and I needed somebody to understand what I'm trying to say in that song. Every song, there are about 6 songs in the film, and every song has its own nature. So if you listen to the album, I hope you have, there's a jukebox out there by the name of Parey Hut Love jukebox. If you go to this and you play it in your car, you'd find every song relevant in some way or the other. It has all moods there, and not because I wanted to give out all moods, just because it can actually, the film talks to at different points, it talks to the people in different moods, and every mood needed some musical element to it, I felt, because I think, again, music plays an important role in telling any story for that matter. So Azan, again, was great to understand what I'm wanting, and accordingly, create the musical world around the film and the songs basically that he's composed. I think he's done a wonderful job. I really don't want to say much. I want you to say and hear them, and then come back and say, okay, whether they're exciting or not. But so far, mashallah, we have received a fantastic response on all the songs which have come out so far.
Film's release, what kind of emotions do you go through? Are you as excited and entertained by the release, or are you going to be tense? Being the producer of the film also, I can see some cigarettes there. Cigarette best cigarette.
It's a disgusting habit, Faisal. It's a disgusting habit. That's what the first thing I said to you. I'd actually quit. I'd quit for 6 months, and then post-production started again. But yeah, it's very stressful. But it's like bittersweet, I'd say. Bitter in the sense that things are coming to an end, and we've we've sort of become a family along the way, and I'm a little upset about the whole idea of us kind of splitting up. But that just goes to show that how much fun we had, because with this film we were shooting in 6 different locations, so we were always traveling. So for 6 months we were traveling together, location to location to location. And because we were trying to target the right weather, we weren't taking many breaks. So we essentially became a family together. And I've grown to love all of these people. Also, as a producer, you sort of become a father figure, right? Because everybody comes to you with their problems. And so now I'm if there's a picture or something or the other, I'll pick up the phone and be like, what are you doing? Why is this happening? Sometimes I'll get more anal about it. But so what's helped me deal with my stress is this support system that I've gotten from all of these people. Whether it's Ahmed, who'll pick up the phone, anything happens, he reads the news or something happens, he calls me, he says, bro, everything okay? I was like, yeah. He's like, don't worry about it. And from Maya, from now that we're promoting, she'll be worried about everyone, like in terms of has everyone had food. She's that sort, so she'll be the one who, so we've all assumed certain roles. So what happens is that because there's so much love and support all around, there's not much fear right now. I'm not thinking beyond this because I'm afraid of thinking beyond this, because I know once this ends we'll all sort of go into our next projects. So that's what's helping me deal with the stress. As an actor, always whenever you're putting your work out, you're putting your soul out for the entire world to comment on, and it's like an unsigned contract that you've done, that whenever you put out your work, people are allowed to comment on it. So that's always there, that little bit of jitter is always there. But what's really helped me with that is the fact that my confidence in Asim as a director. I started my career as an assistant director with him. I grew within his organization. I then started producing ads for him, and then after that I started directing under his company. I directed television commercials under his company, and then I produced Ho Mann Jahaan, and then we sort of formed Vision Factory Films together and we produced Ho Mann Jahaan. So there's a whole lot of love and respect I have for that man, and he's more like, he's like this support system, and he's like this person who towers upon you. So a lot of times where I'm being this broad-chested kind of producer hero going around saying, oh, it's all good, guys, and when I'm in stress, I always look to him. So he sort of helped me deal with that bit of nervousness as an actor, because I know for a fact that what he'll get out of me will be the best that I can give.
And you leave us with any exciting fact or anecdote of Parey Hut Love that you can share with us, with our audiences?
Okay, so, I'm not, to be honest, there are too many things that were happening around us, and it's tough to say that what one incident was outstanding for me. But one thing I just want to share is that, they say that when you're doing something, whatever can go wrong would go wrong. And I literally experienced that, and it was funny the way we experienced it, because when we were designing our spells of the film, we decided that we are going to go according to the weather, and because we have 4 destinations to be where we would be shooting. We were shooting in Kashmir, Pakistani side of Kashmir, and then we were shooting in Bahawalpur, and then we were shooting in some parts of Turkey as well. And then we were also shooting a part in Karachi. So we thought that, okay, so we were starting in September. So we said we'll start with Kashmir, because Kashmir is up north. Generally, the weather is lovely. So it'll be nice and thanda, and we'll experience some wonderful weather there. From there, we thought, okay, we'll go to Turkey, which would again be nice and chilly rather than very chilly. And then come back to Bahawalpur, and at the end come to Karachi by December. So month by month, we'll progress. We arrive in Kashmir, and it is hotter than what you have today in here. It was like literally boiling, and we're like, what happened? We thought Kashmir is supposed to be cool. So anyway, we survived, we went through it. We said, okay, fine, but the rest of the plan is wonderful. We go to Turkey, and Turkey is supposed to be drier in that month because winters are starting, and rains are supposed to stop by August. We are sitting in October in Turkey, and every day it is raining. We put up this huge setup of a wedding, which is outdoors, And the setup, not only in terms of cost but effort, took a lot. And the flowers and everything, and when we were just ready to roll in the morning, it started pouring, and it poured and poured and poured, and it was almost like flooded. The set was flooded with water. So that kept happening. We said, all right, okay. So next is Bahawalpur. Bahawalpur, it's a desert. Desert is supposed to be dry, and desert is supposed to be cooler in the nights, basically. And we had a lot of night shoots. We arrive in Bahawalpur. We start shooting, and that desert, where it probably rains after 10 years or 12 years, it starts raining there. And we're like, what's going on, guys? What have we done? Let's talk to God and ask, can you please tell us where are we going wrong? So I'm just saying that, it was fun also, because, like they say, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going, and you feel more charged, and your team is a lot more charged, because it was more like a wake-up call. And later on, I realized that nature was playing its own tricks on us, and nature probably wanted us to be on our toes and not just chill out, because we were in that mode that, everything's going to be so easy and breezy that we are going to have a smooth sail. It wasn't, and because it was tough, everyone was giving their 101%. And I think now, when I look at the film, it shows in the film that all that hard work has actually amplified a lot more of the beauty of every shot and every scene that we had planned.
It's good to hear that two fire signs ignited each other.
Three.
Okay.
Asim's also Leo.
Okay, excellent. 3 then. In that case, to bring the best out of you two, especially with Asim directing the film. Can you tell us a little bit more about your bird phobia on set?
She told you?
मुझे किसी चीनी ने बताया है कि आप किसी चिल्ली से डरते हैं. किसी birdie ने मुझे बताया है.
Little birdie told you?
I mean,
I have a feeling I know this little birdie.
What happened?
Okay, so it's a little embarrassing, but
बता दें, चिड़िया से डरते हैं आप?
मेरी 2-3 डिफरेंट किस्म के फोबियाज हैं. एक मैच बॉक्सेस से डर लगता है मुझे, एंड एक रबर बैंड से डर लगता है मुझे, और एक बर्ड से डर लगता है मुझे. बहुत अजीब बात है, अब आपने सुन ली, मैंने पहले कभी किसी को नहीं बताई, बट आई गेस वी ऑल हैव अ लिटिल quirks. So that's, now I remember the scene that in the song Bhekana, if you've seen, she's supposed to come running to me, and I'm supposed to be that knight in shining armor, and lo and behold, the knight in shining armor himself is scared of birds. So walking into it, now I couldn't let her know this. So walking into the scene, I'm just telling myself, it's just a scene. Breathe in, breathe out, and we're going to take it like that. And then I did that, and then when the scene was over, that's when Asim came up and he said, wow, you really pulled that through. Because this one time, what Asim knows is that this one time we were shooting at a stadium, and I remember running up to the stadium, and this bird came and hit me on the head, all of a sudden, and I'd passed out. So everybody knew the story about me. And after the scene was over, everybody started clapping, my team. And said, wow, how did you do this? And that's how Maya found out that I was terrified during that scene. But I'll tell you another interesting thing. She herself is scared of quite a few. She's got her own few phobias. This one time we were shooting in Kashmir, and Kashmir Fort was we were sitting right at the ledge, and you could there was a drop in front of us. It had to be at least 500 feet, maybe even more. I'm trying not to exaggerate, but maybe even more. And we sit there, and this scene is when my character sits and gives a long monologue. This is my catharsis, and I'm sitting there, and I'm about to start, and she right before Asim says action, she whispers in my ear. She says, Sheheryar, I don't think I can go on. I said, why? She said, I'm scared of heights. And this whole scene, while I'm giving this whole long monologue, she's squeezing my hand like anything, and here she's squeezing my hand. I'm like, and I'm supposed to be so that was an interesting encounter as well. So yeah, so that's what happened. So it was tit for tat. It was Maya won, Sheheryar won.
But was it just your phobia? Is it where you are terrified, या कभी कभार उलझन या चींची आती है?
नहीं, मैच बॉक्सेस से और रबर बैंड से चींची आती है, जैसे आपने बोला. bird से मुझे डर लगता है. No, you know, I'm not scared of anything else, like reptiles, snakes, anything else. But birds, for some reason, I don't know, they freak me out. It's just those eyes, those beady eyes, and then anyway.
Leading up to the finally, what can audiences take away from Parey Hut Love? We're seeing a lot of exciting and entertaining Pakistani films. But what does
Different.
क्या different है?
अभी आपने कहा फिल्म में 4 शादी हैं, so the one point is here, and we have a huge cast माशाल्लाह. फवाद, आपकी इनकी फिल्म्स में किसी और की फिल्म में है, माहिरा, फवाद, and then ज़ारा, अहमद. फिर वो सब ingredients हैं जो एक फिल्म में होने चाहिए, proper ingredients in our film. Then we have a great soundtracks, like 6 soundtracks proper, शादी numbers, then a romantic song, and कवाली, then मोरे सैयां. तो प्रॉपर फैमिली एंटरटेनमेंट है. और जब हम लोग फिल्म कर रहे थे, हम लोग परे हट लव को कहते हैं फैमिली, और जब हमने फैमिली की तरह फिल्म की है तो इट्स अ प्रॉपर फैमिली एंटरटेनमेंट. सब लोग आएंगे, एंजॉय करेंगे, हंसते हुए जाएंगे ईद पर.
And I want you to respond. हो बेवफा से तो सिगरेट भी अच्छा, जो दिल को जलाता है मगर लब पर तो आता है. What's your answer to that?
My answer to that is बेवफाई में भी बहुत मज़ा होता है. अगर आपने बेवफाई नहीं चखी तो फिर मज़ा ही नहीं किया.
Adaptation.
Okay, thank you. Going by the trailer, the film seems quite grand. Spectacular costumes, the production design. Is this something that you're deliberately dishing out for the audiences? And where do you draw the line between good filmmaking and just making a film which will be commercially viable?
Right. So no, to be honest, I'm a loser when it comes to making it commercially viable, and or rather, you know, keeping it in mind, because a lot of investors ask me this question in a different perspective altogether. They're like, okay, so how commercially viable do you think your film is going to be? And my answer generally is that, listen, it's going to come from the heart, and then hopefully would go to the hearts. So if you find that commercially viable an idea, I would say it's very commercially viable. Otherwise, to be honest, anything that you see there is all because the film demanded it that way. My belief is that if you do something, do it right. If I'm creating a dining room, for example, I would rather have the cutlery and crockery of the right order there, and in the right order there. Otherwise, I would not do that scene there. So obviously, with our limitations, we have been growing in hopefully the right direction. And every 2 to 3 years, when a filmmaker comes back with a new film, you see the difference in not just his confidence, but the production value around his work as well. So the production value surely has increased, not because I did not want the same production value in my first film, but because I did not have the resources probably at that time. But surely it is not supposed to just charm the audience. It is there because that's what was needed. And I wanted to, with my limitations, push the bar and raise the bar to an extent where I can look confidently eye to eye with my audience and say, this is something which is coming from the heart, but yes, it looks right. My stories generally are, as I always say, are the most important thing for me. And the content that I throw out for me has to be important and relevant. So this again is very, very relevant for the youth of today, whether it's in UK, in Dubai, in Pakistan, India, or for that matter, anywhere in the world. Our romance is different today from what it used to be in 20 years ago, where we used to just sit and wait for people for months and sometimes years as well. Now it's different. People have become a lot more practical, and they have their own issues and baggages which they carry. So romance also is a lot more practically driven. So it is a very interesting topic, and I feel every young fellow who's going to go and watch it, whether it's a man or a woman, they're going to relate to it. So I don't want to sermonize it. I don't want to go overboard with, being preachy about anything. But I like that when you watch a film, it should be light enough for you to entertain. But when you go home, you don't go as empty as you came. So that's what I've done in this film as well. Beyond that, if you find it exciting, I'm happy, because that means, it's a win-win, if I may call it.